Morning everybody. This is a video to show you how to take through Design Space a new SVG to create this lovely compact 24 space book advent with cavities which measure about 40mm square and 32mm deep. So it's more compact than another one I have out there, which is also a 24 space book advent, but the pockets are quite a lot deeper. I've just moved them a little bit closer together. So there is a version of this calendar that you can cut entirely from A4 or letter, I think, but we'll just double check that when we go into Design Space in a sec. So there it is from the front. That's a close-up on the artwork that you get for the front with the hanging baubles and some wording at the end. I cut mine in some gorgeous holographic sparkle vinyl. It's from Tanglecrafts. It cuts like a dream. It was really lovely, and I laid it on the card with some very light tack transfer tape so it didn't spoil the surface of the card. You can see there what it looks like when it's laid down, and both halves of the box are stacked on top of each other. You can see the spine there that just holds them together at the side. There it is again from the front. I've got one inside in a second. Yeah, there it is. So you can see you get the numbers to put on the doors as well, and you've got the inch measurement there, the imperial measurements for the cavities, 40 by 32 mil, 1.6 inches square, and 1.25 inches deep. And there it is again. Okay, so we'll go into Design Space and I'll bring it in, and I've just realized I haven't opened it up, so I'll pause the video there. Right, so here we are. I'll open a new project and I'll bring it in from scratch. A lot of people like to see it coming in right from outside Design Space. So upload image, and you can drag it there if you don't have Design Space on full screen, but I always do. So I tend to click browse, and I'm navigating to where it is on my system. It's called that one. There we are. You get that message about it being a large image. It's just because the doors are cut from lots of tiny cuts, and I think it's just Design Space reading all those, that's all. So then we press continue, and then at this window you can give it a name if you want, but just upload. You don't need to do anything else because you can always save it as the project you want to call it anyway. So something I wanted to draw your attention to, Design Space had an update last week, and since that update a lot of my very large canvas SVG files, like this one that contains all the different parts of the project, they're not coming in at the right size. There's nothing wrong with the file. It's going into Silhouette Studio Business Edition just fine. It's a glitch with Design Space. But I just want to draw your attention to the front page of the instructions that you get. You always get a PDF of instructions if any of my SVGs has more than one piece to it. And the front page of the instructions always shows you a diagram of what the SVG looks like, and sometimes it tells you what all the different pieces of the project are called. But more importantly, here, if I just zoom in, you get this paragraph called what your file looks like, and within that paragraph I always tell you what size the SVG should be when it drops on your canvas, whether you're using Silhouette or Design Space or Canvas Workspace or whatever. And that I started doing this when I started designing SVGs about 4 years ago, and I realized that occasionally glitches with DS meant that SVGs didn't come in at the right size. I am sure they'll fix it when the next update comes out, but even going to beta hasn't fixed it. I tried that yesterday and it's still not working. So just because it sometimes happens to Cricut users, I always put the size of the SVG there. So all you need to do, the instructions tell you what to do, but you just need to note that it should be 94.69 centimeters wide. 94.69. So as you can see, it's come in. What it does when it's got this glitch, Design Space, it defaults to the size of a standard mat. It's very strange. It just makes it the size of a standard mat, whatever size it is, however big it is. It's not like it scales it uniformly. It just makes it 30.48 centimeters wide. So I've forgotten that dimension already. 94.69. So in your width box up here, you just need to make sure that the padlock is locked, 94.69, and then tab or return, and it will set the height of the SVG automatically. And we can see that it's set the height to 52.6. So if we go back to the instructions, 52.6 is bang on where it should be. So if Design Space has got that little glitch going on like it does occasionally, and I'm not complaining, I'm a big advocate of Design Space. I think it's great free software. We have to remember that we don't pay for it. Most other people do, although Canvas Workspace is great and they don't pay for that either. Just be aware of it. It just happens occasionally, and I always put this paragraph in my instructions for that reason. Right, back to Design Space. We'll pretend it came in at the right size, and this is how it landed on your canvas. So it's already selected when it comes in. First step is to ungroup it. I'm on the desktop version for PC. Ungroup for me is at the top of the layers panel over here on the right hand side, and it's that first icon. So just click on it, and that lets you see the two layers inside the group. And with my SVGs, the top layer, which you can see is only lines, there's no coloured pieces in it, that's where the lines that need converting to score live. So you just select that group, go to your operations menu, top left hand corner, and choose score. Obviously, if you're using mobile, you'll know where your menus are. They're all in a line along the bottom. You might need to just dig in a bit to find out where they are. So we've converted those now, but as you can see, there's definitely more than one set because they're on quite a lot of pieces. So we've got to ungroup them. So we just go back to that same icon and click ungroup. Then that group underneath, the one right at the bottom, don't worry about that one there, where all the coloured cut pieces are, just select that and ungroup it. That's all you need to do, nothing else to do there. So now everything on canvas is a separate piece, and we can attach the scores to the pieces that they relate to. So the easiest way to do that is to click on canvas somewhere near a piece, drag a box to just touch that piece and its scores, and attach. And you need to do that for every piece that's on screen. As you can see, I'm going to the attach button there, but normally when it's just me on my own and I'm on the computer, I just go Alt-A because it's a bit faster. No scores on that one. We'll talk about what the pieces are in a sec because that matters as well. So again, if you're using the mouse, it's down to attach. If you want to use the keyboard commands, it's Alt-A. And with this one, you've got cuts and scores within the piece. Everything needs attaching. So you might have noticed that for some of them, I just need to do that to select it. With this one, you do need to select absolutely everything. Go all the way around the piece. Same with this one. Even though it's grouped, you've still got to attach it or things will split up onto different mats. And that one, Alt-A, and that one, Alt-A. That's weird that they look different on screen. Anyway, don't worry. And then this is the numbers and the decoration for the front. What I did, I'll just show you what I did, because I wanted to save a little bit of vinyl. I took that and I turned it round and I slotted it in there. And all that meant was, so imagine they weren't there for a second. I would recommend cutting that as a piece. I know it's a little bit wasteful, but what it means is when you align that with the top of the box, you know that's going to be completely straight. Because sometimes just aligning lettering up straight can be a bit tricky. Whereas you know if you use that line right at the top edge of the box, that is also going to be straight. But to take advantage of that bit in the middle that we don't want to lose, and if you weed it carefully, you can still keep the rest of it together as a piece, I put the numbers there to use that piece up, and then I attach everything, and that will all cut in a piece like that. Right, so we just zoom out and just talk about what the pieces are. So as I mentioned earlier, it's a lovely compact calendar is this. I'll put the finished dimensions on the Etsy listing. I didn't put them on a photograph, and I've sent it off to Bristol now to my son at university, so I haven't got it to measure here quickly, but I will do that before I put the listing up. There is a version that you need the long mat and A3 for if you want to cut the box back, and when I say box back, I mean, and just go back, I mean these. So the way it's made, it's like an open top box that you drop the holes layer into, and then the outer covers of the box are a separate sheet that goes on top. So you can make that open topped box either in all one piece and just fold the walls up and glue the corners, but you need the long mat and A3 for that. And again, that's another thing. If you've got an old machine, you can do it a different way, but we might touch on that, but I should probably stop saying it really. And then you've got this version, which will cut, how big is that? How big is that? 16.9, but oh yeah, definitely. It will cut from letter or A4. So you don't need the long mat. If you don't use that piece, this whole project will cut from letter or A4 or 12 by 12 if that's what you've got. And I do explain that on the instructions. It says box out it. If you want to use a standard mat and A4 or letter or 12 by 12, you cut 2 of the yellow one. If you're using A3 or tabloid, you would cut 2 of that green one, but you need the long mat. I hope that's clear. If it's not, feel free to comment below. Right, so that's your basic project. And then, of course, it's a book. So it's got 2 halves. So if that's the doors layer, you need 2 door layers because you're going to be making 2 halves. That's the holes layer, as I call it. You need 2 of those. If you were using the big box, the one that's all cut in one piece, you would need 2 of those. And if you were using, I'm just going to put those back together so it's a bit more compact and more obvious what that is. You would need 2 of all that as well. You only need 1 front, you only need 1 set of numbers, you only need 1 spine that holds the boxes together, but of course you do need 24 pockets. This is a 24 space calendar. Now, depending on what you're cutting from, I recommend that you bring in a shape to Design Space, which is the maximum cutting area you've got on that piece of paper. I cut mine from A4, and I have to say it's not especially economical to cut it from A4 because you only get 4 little boxes on an A4, but I'll show you what I did anyway. So I brought a shape in, and I got written on my wall here that the maximum cutting area, I need to ungroup it, maximum cutting area on an A4 is 19.7 centimetres wide. We waste about 13 mil, and 28.3 centimetres tall. So that's the maximum cutting area. No, I've done something wrong there. Yeah, 28.3. There we go. I'll send that to the back. So what I did, I was hoping that when I came to lay my pocket pieces out, I might be able to interlock a few things, and I did try, but I don't think I managed it. All I'm doing there to get another one is I'm copying and pasting. You could also use the duplicate button up here, top of the layers panel. Just click on it and it gives you another one. But you can actually only get 4 out of an A4 anyway. So you would still need to do that though. You would still need to interlock them like that. And then what you would do is you'd get rid of that shape you've brought in, and you would select those and you would attach them like that. And then of course, because you need 24, you'd need 6 sheets like that. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you are using 12 by 12, then the maximum cutting area on that is 29.2. Again, we waste about half an inch, good half an inch. So we'll just copy one of those again, and I'll detach it, although I'll leave it together for now actually. Yeah, we'll probably get quite a lot more on 12 by 12. And it's also important to remember actually that your pockets won't be seen at all until you open the door and get your sweetie out, and even then it might not matter that much what the pockets look like. So maybe if you've got some you get these pads, these Christmas pads, and there's usually one in there that you don't like, you could maybe use it up that way. Let's see how many we'll get on a 12 by 12 by interlocking them this way. I think we're only going to get 6 though, aren't we? Yeah, you still only get 6, so you need 4 sheets of 12 by 12, but that seems a lot better than the 6 sheets of A4, doesn't it, somehow? But anyway, that's what you do. Don't just send it to Design Space, because if you do, Design Space will lay it out, as we know, like this, because it takes, you can see how when I pick the shape up, you can see that margin. Design Space always leaves that margin, it never fills it in. So you wouldn't get You wouldn't get 6 if you let Design Space lay it out. So do what I did, bring a shape onto canvas, step your pockets up, then attach them in that formation, and then you'll get a much more economical cut. Again, I hope that's clear. If it isn't, feel free to put a comment below. Okay, so I'm going to make mine as if I'm cutting it entirely from A4. Oh no, what I would do actually at this stage is I would save it. So just click save, call it whatever you want to save it, and save it. I've got various versions of this, so I'm not going to, but do it that way, because then you've already set these up in the format that they're going to cut in. Choose 12 by 12 or A4, whichever you like, but you don't need to go through the guides business again. It's all there ready to cut, and all you need to do is decide, are you cutting it from A4 using the yellow, or from green, or from A3 or tabloid using the green. Can you fit that on tabloid? Tabloid is 279 by, yes, easily. A3 or tabloid using the long mat for the one-piece box, but actually I made mine, when I made mine for the picks, I used A4, and it does actually give a nice square corner to the box all over. So I quite like it cut from A4, but it's just a little bit faster, obviously, to cut it from a bigger sheet of paper in one piece. Right, so as I say, let's go ahead. I'm going to imagine I'm cutting mine from just A4. I've already set all my pockets up in the orientation, so I know they're going to stay like that. We'll press make it. Not going to save it. That can go away. Go away. There, okay. So I can choose A4. I'm just going to put whatever vinyl sheet I've got left on my mat, and you can see we're using that piece up there, but when you weed it, obviously you'll leave the baubles and the lettering together in place, and then when you pick them up all together, you only need to worry about lining that up. Let's have a picture at the top of your box. Yeah, line it up there and it'll be perfectly straight there. So that's the vinyl. Then we're going to choose, or maybe I should have made them all the same colour. Possibly, we'll see what happens. I don't think it will make any difference, actually. No, you won't get the spine on another one anyway. So we'll just choose A4 for everything. Yeah, so advent calendars with pockets, they are paper hungry. We know that, don't we? So if you're cutting it entirely from A4, that's 15 sheets of A4 paper or letter. Works on letter as well. Look, we can choose letter, just the same. Yeah, same number, 15 sheets of A4 or letter, and then one sheet of, you know, maybe 20 by 20 centimetres, 8 by 8 inches for the front cover. I think that's all I need to talk about with you. Can't think of anything I've forgotten. If I do, I'll put something in the comments when I list the video. If you have any issues when you come to cut or assemble it, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Oh, I will just show you actually on the instructions the chocolates that I used in it. You'll recognise them when you see them, I think. Show that page. They are the Lindor chocolates. As you can see, it's a nice easy fit for them. I didn't have any Ferrero Rocher to test it with. I have a feeling that Ferrero Rocher would probably fit in there as well. Those are Terry's chocolate orange truffles, those dark blue ones, but don't they look gorgeous? I know you only open them one by one, so you'll only see one at a time, but anyway, that's what they look like. As I was saying, if you have any issues when you come to cut or assemble it, please do not hesitate to get in touch. I am always happy to help, and it's usually a question which is a really quick fix. You can get in touch via Etsy or Facebook. The links to do that are in the description below this video. And if you've just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, there's a link to purchase down there as well. Don't forget, if you're purchasing 3 or more SVG files at one time from the Tanglecrafts Studio Etsy shop, the link is in the description, you can use the 30 for 3 discount code to get 30% off your total purchase. This offer runs all the time, but you need to use that code when you check out. And if you haven't already joined the Tanglecrafts Studio Facebook group, join now to get any special Etsy discount codes issued to group members and to take advantage of the free SVG files I give away in the group from time to time. The link to the group is in the description. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.